This is a part of a series of videos talking about data on demand into your development and testing environments. Finding and creating data across multiple technologies and heterogeneous platforms. So what we're going to be doing is creating some synthetic data into a Postgres database. We're going to map common data and generate similar data, matching data into SQL Server. This is testing a migration from one database to another. We're also going to populate the exact matching data for service virtualization to support development and testing. So here is our test data pipeline. We have 3 synthetic test data generation activities. The first one is into Postgres, second one into SQL Server, and the third one then populates some messages into our service virtualization engine. If we open up the rule set, you'll see we've defined a whole bunch of parameters to control the types of data that we want to create, and those map down into the individual columns. And we've also used a bunch of our data generation functions, and we can also look up data from reference systems as well. Now, for the SQL Server, we want the data to be very similar, so what we're actually doing is we're mapping some of the columns across from the extracted data to make sure that the same data then moves into SQL Server, and then we're also doing the same thing when we move then down into populating the data in the virtual endpoints. So let's just fire this job off. We need some ship data. They qualify for a full refund. We're going to set the credit limit for 1,200. How many customers do we want? Let's create 100 of them. How many orders? 3 orders, and then 6 order items. Then we're also saying here that we want to push it into the SQL Server database. That's just the connection point. The corporations, it's a full request for the service virtualization, and this is accrual taxation. We're happy with A-, and we're now going to fire off the job. You'll see the job running down the right-hand side. And you can see the detailed responses for the stages as we're pushing the data through. If we look at the job, this is more typically how a user would submit it. You can see we've generated 100 customers, and then we've created 200 messages, which are our virtual responses. Now if we go over to Postgres and look at the data that we've created, you'll see 1,200 is what we set it to. And then if we go to SQL Server and do a similar query, you'll see they match with the same credit limits and the same name. So some of the data has been carried over, and then if we go and look at the results.zip, which contains the request responses, and here is the first request, which has the same customer ID, and then you'll see the payload, which is going to be responding to that request with a current rating of A-. So you can see it's very easy to create data into heterogeneous technologies, in this case different database technologies, but you can also create messages and push data in through APIs as well. If you'd like to get in touch and try the software, feel free. Thank you very much.